All right, let's get right into it. Choosing a software development partner, it's one of the biggest decisions a modern business can make. Seriously, if you get it right, you've just created a massive competitive advantage. But if you get it wrong, well, you become part of a multi-trillion-dollar problem. Yeah, just look at this number, $2.41 trillion. That's the estimated cost of poor software quality every single year. And that's just in the United States. It's an absolutely staggering figure. It comes from everything, from cybersecurity screw-ups to this thing called technical debt, which is basically the price you pay later for taking an easy shortcut now. And it's not just about the quality of what gets delivered. A lot of the time, nothing gets delivered at all. A mind-blowing 65% of all technology projects end in either partial or total failure. Think about that. For every 3 projects that kick off, 2 of them are probably going to miss their goals, blow their budget, or just completely crash and burn. So the real question is, how do you avoid becoming just another statistic? This quote just says it all, doesn't it? The digital graveyard. It's filled with these brilliant ideas. Ideas that didn't fail because the vision was bad, but because the actual partnership, the connection between the business and the people building the tech, completely fell apart. And that right there brings us to the absolute core of this whole explainer. The key to staying out of that graveyard is to make a fundamental shift in how you think. You're not just hiring a vendor to write some code for you. No, you're bringing on a strategic partner who's going to help you navigate this incredibly complex digital world. So what's the real difference here? Well, a vendor relationship it's transactional. You give them a list, they give you code. Their whole incentive is just to fulfill the contract exactly as it's written. And that's pretty much it. A partner, though, a real partner is invested in your success. They don't just ask what, they're constantly asking why. They're focused on your business outcome, not just ticking off boxes on a list. And this leads to a concept that I think is just brilliant: strategic pushback. This is a massive green flag you should be looking for. I mean, if a potential partner just agrees with every single thing you say, every timeline, every feature, no questions asked, they're not a partner. They're a yes man who's just trying to win the deal. A great partner has the guts, the intellectual honesty to say, hey, I know you want this by Friday, but if we rush it, we're going to create a mess that'll cost us way more down the road. That conversation, the one that's a little uncomfortable, that's where the real value gets created. Okay, so we've established it. We want a partner, not a vendor. But what does that actually look like, in the real world? Let's break down the tangible things that separate the absolute best from, everyone else. And this table just lays it out perfectly. A partner's tech stack, it's like a litmus test for how confident they are. The old way is slow, it's risky, but a modern partner who uses tools like Kubernetes for automating deployments and automated CI/CD pipelines to streamline the whole process, look, they're not using fancy tech just for the sake of it. They're delivering actual business benefits, a lower total cost of ownership, getting your product to market way faster, and the ability to scale up when you grow. Now, let's talk about how they work. The data here it's just crystal clear. Agile projects, the ones that are iterative and collaborative, they have a 64% success rate. The old school waterfall method, which is very linear, that's down at 49%. And why is that? It's because a great partner doesn't sell you some rigid 200-page plan that's going to be obsolete in a few months. They sell you adaptability. They deliver working software in these short, fast cycles so you can make changes based on real feedback, not on assumptions you made 6 months ago. Okay, for any executive watching, this is where the rubber really hits the road: the money. The pricing model you pick can either strengthen a partnership or, honestly, turn it into a fight from day one. We're going to look at 2 of the most common ones: fixed price and time and materials. So let's just ask the question straight up. What are you actually looking for? A relationship that's built on these super rigid contracts, or one that's based on shared value and being flexible? So here's the bottom line. Fixed price contracts, they feel safe. And hey, for a tiny, really well-defined project, they can be fine. But for complex software, it's an illusion of control. The vendor is basically incentivized to cut corners to protect their profit margin. And every little change turns into this painful negotiation. A time and materials model, though, it aligns everyone perfectly. Your partner is motivated to deliver the most value they can for every single hour because they know their success depends entirely on your success. All right, we've talked about the what and the why. Now let's get to the how. I'm going to give you the questions you absolutely need to ask to cut through all the sales fluff and find a real partner. We'll cover 2 of my favorites, one that tests their honesty and another that tests their commitment to you.
This is my absolute favorite test. Ask them this. A vendor will probably tell you all their clients are 100% happy all the time, which, let's be real, is just not possible. A true partner, though, will be honest. They'll tell you about a tough project, what they learned from it, and, most importantly, how they made it right. How a team deals with a problem is so much more telling than their shiny success stories.
Okay, this next question is a total deal breaker. The only acceptable answer is you do. A great partner makes sure you have full ownership and total access to your intellectual property from the very beginning. Anything less than that is a setup for vendor lock-in, where they're basically holding your code and your entire business hostage. Full transparency is the only way to avoid that trap. So, what do you do now? Where do you go from here? Well, first, you gotta look inward. Are you even ready for a partnership? Second, define your non-negotiables. What really matters to your business? And third, please don't jump into some massive multi-year contract. Start with a small, focused project. You know what they say, test the marriage before the wedding. And that brings us to our final thought. As you think about everything we've covered, I want you to ask yourself this one simple but really powerful question about your current team or the one you're about to hire. Because in today's world, the answer to that question could very well determine the future of your entire business. So go out there, find a real partner, and build something incredible.